something. Shit, man, I wish I could copy and paste. Fuck.
This. stream?
No.
COVID-19.
Hello, buddy. You
What's
doing
going on,
okay?
man?
COVID-19. I look really low on the levels. Here we go. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Yes. Yes. COVID-19. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm so sick of it, man. So sick of it. We're going to talk about it on the show for sure, but fuck. I'm so sick of COVID-19.
We're not live, are we?
Oh, we are.
Oh,
100%.
hi. Oh.
Yes.
Yes, and I have to remember to use your alias
Yeah.
for the show.
That's right, Cook. That's right, Cookman. Cookman.
Damn right.
All right, so Lux, why don't we introduce our new player in the room right now, the Doof.
The Doof? Say hello, Duff.
No, it's the Duff. I did.
The
Yeah.
Duff.
Let's go with that.
Hey, thank you very much for hopping on here because, you know, as you probably have observed through audio and the internet, this is a group of 4 penises.
Yes, I've
Penises.
observed that.
Yes, and so it's very nice to have some, you know, representation, I suppose. Some male privilege and some female privilege all in the same room.
Are you streaming right now to YouTube?
100%, bruh.
He's committed right now.
Unless I didn't. Oh, I didn't make it public. Holy cow! I'm so stupid.
Yeah, that helps.
Well, you know what? You ought to go on Twitch anyways. If you are watching, it is a great idea to go on Twitch for a couple reasons. We're really,
I just cut out.
You got cut out from what?
No, maybe not.
No, I hear you, Grill.
We can hear you.
A couple reasons. Twitch, we're really close to reaching an average of 3 viewers on Twitch, and that gets us to like an affiliate partner, whatever they call it, start running ads. Should be nice. Be nice to
Yeah.
actually pull something.
I do it on
especially in
both.
these
So
rough
set
times.
up YouTube because the lag isn't as bad.
Well, yeah, that's fine, but you know, YouTube ain't gonna pay me for a long time or pay us for a long time. So, you know, if we can get everybody on Twitch, that'd be great.
I'm
Yeah, the
on
most
Twitch, too.
monetization that he can get, the better.
Yeah. Anywho, what are we talking about today? So, Duff left, and she's probably coming back. Maybe.
He probably couldn't hear us.
There's a game
Yeah.
happening right now. Lux, did you want to run us through this game?
The game.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, you're back.
Hi.
Oh,
Say,
New to technology here.
Uh,
This is the Duff.
No
okay.
worries.
Sorry about
Well,
that.
so there was this game, right? You were telling me about this game you wanted to kick off today with.
I have no idea what you're talking about, man.
Holy cow! Do I need to go through my sex messages? COVID-19.
Oh, you mean? No, it was TV recommendations, dude. That's not a game.
Oh. Well, you wanted to share. I
I was saying last week we did the what did we do? We did the
Would you rather?
yeah, and this week I was saying everyone should do a TV recommendation for quarantine entertainment.
Yeah. All right. I was thinking the same thing. Well. I mean, I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes. Yes.
I've been watching the entire new season. What do you guys think? Have you guys been watching it?
It's so good. It's a solid season.
So
I haven't
good.
watched the last 2 episodes. But that just means I have an hour of Curb.
Oh
Curb
yeah.
away.
Oh yeah. The season finale is awesome, man. The Spite Store. Oh my god.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Dude, you know what? If Jake had a store, Jake had anything, I'd set up a spite store.
Who's this Jake guy?
Yeah, you gotta check him out on in chat, man.
Okay.
He's one of our viewers.
Yeah,
He's always on.
he's always on.
Jake.
Yeah, no, a spite store and the big goodbye. We started the season with the big goodbye, and it's a piece of behavior that I know that I do all the time, and I never ever had a name for it. You know, the big goodbye is when you really don't want to talk to somebody in particular, so you avoid them the entire night. Let's say at a party or whatever, and then you wait till the very end when you're just about to leave to be like, hey, what's up? You know, I meant to come, you know, talk with you. It's so great seeing you. And then, you know, you make this like big deal out of the goodbye.
Let's do lunch. Let's get lunch.
Yeah. And then you're
The
good.
big goodbye always turns into a lunch, which
It turns
never
into
turns.
Yeah, but then you wear a
Ever.
MAGA hat, and it never turns into a lunch again.
That's
You'll
right.
never go to lunch. You'll never ever go to lunch.
Yeah, man.
Ever.
That's
It's the greatest thing. Hey, let's do lunch. Let's grab drinks. That's another big one. You'll never get a drink with that person. You'll never get lunch. But the next time you see them, you'll be like, let's get lunch. Let's do drinks. It's like the same thing. Circle.
big circle. I love it. I mean, well, how why don't you share some strategies of ghosting people that you don't really want to hang out with, Duff?
Oh, she's probably good at it.
I bet. Please, enlighten.
I think it's a lot of that. I mean, it's not intentional. I don't think it's never intentional. It's always
Wait, what?
it's never
mean it's never
intentional. It's
That's
always
the whole
like
point of ghosting.
No, I don't believe that. I think I try and keep in touch with a lot of people. The people that I want to ghost, I don't look at it like, I don't know. Mine is more
okay,
like
so you run into.
I
right.
try and like keep up with people. It's a thing that I like to do.
No, that's good. You're a nice person. I don't care what anybody else says, but
Yeah.
I
am a good person.
But when you give your number to a male, a Molly, and then you don't want to talk to him because obviously you don't want to date him or something, right? Like you're telling me you've never had a dude that like fell like head over heels and then was like always texting you and always like trying to set up time with you, and at a certain point you just had to kind of like ghost them.
Well, I don't really give my phone number out like that. If I think you're gonna do that to me, I'm not gonna do that. But the people that I have, and even I don't know. It's like it's got to be a gentle letdown. It always has to be like a gradual. You never know what people are going to react to, so you have to be careful.
Honestly, does everybody here knows John Berger except for you, Duff, right?
Correct.
Yeah. He's like the type of person that like doesn't really sometimes get the message. Do you know what I'm saying? And look.
Oh god, I have some good stories about that guy not getting the
Is that a real person that you guys know? Like,
Berger's the right person. Berger's an actual person.
Yeah.
But listen, I was a burger at one point. I think everybody was a burger at one point.
Oh,
Just
for
didn't
sure.
really get
You
this.
kind of still are.
Yeah, sure.
I think there's like, I mean, I don't know. Is this like a guy who died in 2017?
No, he's for
like,
real. He's actually really buff and strong. But just kind of.
It really depends. It depends on like who's the one being persistent, I guess. It's a very open. I don't know. Like if you have somebody that's a real creep and you can sense, like I personally I think I have a very good intuition, and there's some people out there that I would not want to talk to, and I'm not going to engage in those people. And even if I end up doing so and then I turn out to be weird, there's a signal that goes off. I don't care who you are. There has to be. There's something that says like this person is weird, or this is a little odd, and you approach it with caution. And what you do from there is, I don't know. That's
Okay, so you've never had a Trojan. Well, so here's the thing, right? My girlfriend, right? She pretended for a long time that like we like the same things, and now I realize that we don't like the same things. And she's like, "Well, it's too late. You know, I already got you."
Question though, do you guys hate the same things?
No,
Oh,
not necessarily. Sometimes, and sometimes
I
we
think
like
that's
the
more
same
important
things.
than liking the same things, is hating the same things.
yeah.
fair.
That's always a
Right.
good common
good point.
denominator.
That's a good point.
Hate's a strong word, man. You know
It
what?
is a strong word, but it's a common denominator. Like a lot of
Sure.
people dislike whatever you
Was that a cigarette or a
people.
joint?
It's a backwood.
Oh,
I
you're gonna
know.
get coronavirus for sure, dude.
Guys, speaking of which,
Fucking
I
disgusting
think I
smoker.
swear to God, we're
gross,
sitting
dude.
around in my apartment thinking that we might have coronavirus just because we get the sniffles one day or sneeze.
Oh yeah, I've had the sniffles for like 3 weeks.
I had a sneeze earlier, and I thought for sure I had the corona, but then I held it in, and it didn't let off. So I think I'm safe.
Did you
If
get
you
your pants?
if you don't have any
Yes, and I coughed and flew
senses,
up in my mouth.
that's a big thing. If you don't have any senses, like you have no
Really?
taste, you have no smell.
See, like I feel like
That's like what's going around New York right now.
Are you in New York?
I'm in New York, yeah.
I'm in New York too. So
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of crazy out here, right?
it feels
kinda
like
nuts.
a separate. Like it's very weird.
I just
I mean,
think
I
there's
think
a lot
I
of
think they have it under
misinformation.
control, but yeah, I agree. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of misinformation, but I've had a lot of friends at work that have said that they've lost sense, like smell and taste, and that's a sign. And
Wait,
usually
so
it doesn't
they
get any
have
worse.
they have COVID-19.
Well, they're not allowed to get tested because they don't meet the
COVID-19. Yo,
requirements.
You gotta change this fucking thing on your screen, man. You're like giving me a headache with this shit.
What? Oh shit! All right,
Just over and over again.
here. Look, listen. Speaking
Thank
of
you.
which,
That's better. Thank you. That's better.
here we go. You can watch a molecule do things.
That's much better.
All right. Please. I'm sorry. You were saying? Did we you lose train
I
of thought?
forget.
We're talking about New
No.
York.
I think a
and
lot
how-
of it might be
how-
psychosomatic. You know, people.
Yeah.
You read the symptoms, and all of a sudden you have like you just get in your head. You know, it's bombarded by it. It's very surreal, and
Like
you know,
that.
all of a sudden
Totally.
you just start.
I think like
Sorry.
taste and smell is something that you would know if you have. I think that's real.
Just recently, I've started to hear, and I don't know about you, Duff, but I've started to hear of people who have somebody very close to them either get sick or die.
I have not. I've been very fortunate. I don't know. I know people that have gotten sick. I don't know anybody who has died.
There's a 35-year-old I heard about, and I'm like pretty darn close. I mean, I'm 22. But
Well, I've
I'm
heard
pretty
about
damn
those people.
close.
I don't know those people though. But like I've heard about them.
That deuce.
Deuce. Yeah, deuce forever. All right, guys, what you guys are staring at on the screen is COVID-19 doing its thing, right? So what this is a project in Stanford where they basically aggregate computer power for anybody who's willing to donate it to run simulations and kind of simulate the molecule and run tests against it. It's key to discovering a vaccine. And, as a viewer or as myself or anybody here, there's not much we can do for a vaccine, but it's pretty simple to donate your computer power. If you download this thing from Folding at Home, and it's just a client that sits on your desktop, and you press a button and you're contributing to this. Right now, there's, I think, over 400,000 computers, and maybe I think there's more, but it's surpassed the computer power of the most powerful supercomputer on Earth at this point in time. Right now, they're struggling to keep up with running enough simulations to keep up with the amount of power that's getting thrown at it. But that's great. Better to have than to have none.
Just like what's it called? SETI?
There's a million. So there's a million
SETI.
right now. What was that?
SETI? Have you heard of this?
No, what is it?
What's it called? Search for extraterrestrials.
Extraterrestrial life.
God damn it! What's it called?
You ever see Ancient Aliens? That's something me and my girlfriend have in common, is watching Ancient Aliens.
Ancient aliens?
Ancient Aliens. It's
not current ones?
No, it's basically about aliens, the conspiracies with the Egyptians back in the day. Strange structures being built by aliens.
Any significant human achievement was really done by aliens. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's the premise.
That's right.
For sure.
And it's true. Extraterrestrial life can just be recovered. Wait, what? Can they just use recovered people's antibodies? I don't know, man. I'm not a scientist.
But you are 22.
Forever. It's... Yep. Oh, this is it? This is what you've been talking
SETI.
about? This?
So this is similar. You download the thing, and it runs in the background.
Yeah.
Whenever your computer goes asleep or something like that, like the screensaver. This is your screensaver.
Okay.
And then
wait, COVID-19 is your screensaver?
no, SETI. Did you hit that link?
Yeah, it's right here. Excuse me. Anyways, it's a simple thing we can all do. Pretty cool. So, wait, can we back this the fuck up? We were talking about TV shows. Can somebody else make a recommendation for TV shows, please?
Altered Carbon Season 1 was great.
Season 1's good.
Ooh.
Season 2 has been shit.
Season 2's good. Season
2's entertaining, I guess, but in comparison, it's nowhere
near Season 1, yeah.
Wait, did you guys see Westworld?
No.
I just got into that. It's really fucking good.
Oh
dude.
my god, I heard about what they did though with the fucking dragon. I'm so fucking pissed at those guys.
Wait, why?
Fucking D&D, those fucking dickheads.
They did a crossover?
You didn't hear about it?
What?
So the producers of Game of Thrones, what are their fucking names? David Weiss or David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Mm-hmm. They were extras in Westworld.
Yeah.
And they're like there's like two main characters like walking down a hallway, and they're like, in the back rooms where the robots get repaired and shit. And,
yeah, I saw the scene.
And you saw the scene with those guys?
Yeah.
Did you read about like what they were saying? The conversation, the producers of Game of Thrones, and they're standing in front of a dragon, and they're talking about chopping it up and selling it on the black market. And the guy's like, it's too big or something like that. He's like, who gives a fuck? We'll just chop it up or something like that.
Yeah.
And everyone read it as like a big like undercover fuck you to everyone that hated season 8.
What?
Yeah, because they fucked up season 8 so bad.
I know.
These guys are like the two most hated people in the entertainment right now.
Sure. I didn't read it that way. That's weird.
It seemed that way. I mean, I didn't see it. I only read an article about it.
I saw it. The context was right because the context is right because the park is literally getting, they just had this big problem in the park, and they're trying to get rid of there's kind of semi-chaos. They're trying to get rid of things.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the context makes sense, but still, out of context, it's kind of like, ugh, fuck you guys.
Wait, so Jake's saying, Jake, we're talking about dragons right now. You talk about white blood cells, eats them. I don't get it. I don't get it. My brain hurts.
Jake's too smart for us.
I know he dude. This kid's smart, dude. He like hacked his high school network to change his grades.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, right.
That's really smart.
Duff. Suggestion.
Yes.
For show. I mean, I'm not. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not there yet. I like listening.
What? Listening to what?
What are you talking about? A suggestion for a show? Sorry.
We're all in quarantine.
We're suggesting TV shows.
You guys would like my shows. It's the show that I'm watching currently is the one on Netflix, the Tiger guy.
Oh, I heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
how is it?
that's-
So I'm thinking about checking that out.
So I've gotten through one episode already. I will. It's not unwatchable. It's like kind of like the show Making a Murderer. Like that's how they hook you with that tagline of that. Do you guys know the premise of the story?
No.
He owns like tigers or some shit, right?
So this guy
Moira.
owns these tigers, and he basically in the trailer it says that he has this like tiger park, and he's basically been accused of being hiring someone to kill an animal rights activist, and that's how they kind of like get you into the show. You're like, huh, what? And it's kind of a little bit like Making a Murderer.
Okay.
He's got an insane mullet. He's this gay tiger owning guy. He owns probably like, I don't know, 50 more tigers. It's insane. He practices polygamy. He's gay. He does not like this animal rights woman. And there was an attempted murder on her, and he was charged with being the for-hire tiger person that was going to kill her.
What?
It's really something else. There's so many storylines going on here. Like it's I've only gone through one episode, and I want to watch more, but I want somebody else to kind of watch it with, like so I'm waiting for my friends to catch up on that season so we can do the whole Netflix party thing.
Yeah.
And watch
have you
together.
guys used Netflix Party?
I haven't yet, so I'm waiting for my friends to do this.
You know this guy, he ran for president too.
Did he really?
This guy?
Yeah, the mullet guy, the Tiger King.
He's
he
got
ran
a
for
mullet.
president.
I mean, he's something else.
On
When did he run
YouTube,
for
yeah,
president?
you could look up his presidential campaign video on YouTube. It's
Wait, let's look that up.
I can't believe he,
What's his name? What's his actual name?
His name is
Oh.
Joe.
Joel. Oh yeah, Joe
What is it,
Wild,
like Joe
Wild or
Wild
Exotic.
or something?
It's
Joe
Joe-
Exotic. Joe
Yeah.
Exotic. Yes.
Wait, she changed his last name to Exotic?
Yeah, his first name is some like crazy. You would never think of it. It's Joe Exotic.
Oh my god, okay, I'm pausing the music right now, and we are going to play this. In 2016. He ran in 2016.
That really?
Yeah.
Kind of a presidential
Wow.
candidate
Hold up.
or any politician. The purpose of this video today is to let you know who I am. First thing is, I am not cutting my hair. I'm not changing the way I dress. I refuse to wear a suit. I am gay. I've had 2 boyfriends most of my life. I currently got legally married. Thank God. It's finally legal in America. I've had some kinky sex. I have tried drugs through the younger years of my life. I am broke as shit. I have a judgment against me from some bitch down there in Florida. But I can tell you, I paid a fine with the USDA, and that is nothing but a civil fine, ladies and gentlemen. That does not mean that I was accused or convicted of any kind of animal cruelty thing. I built one of the biggest facilities and the nicest facilities for exotic animals in this country as far as a private individual goes. I'm Joe Exotic. And don't forget, I am now stepping my foot in the ring to run for president. And this is all paid for by the committee of Joe Exotic Speaks for America.
Is this a song too? Because I didn't
Oh,
write music
Yeah, he
too.
has 2 country albums, man. 2 country albums.
No, he has a lot more. It said in his
really?
like first episode, he's got like 16
Oh,
albums
What?
and like 14 music videos. Or
Dude's
it's
got
insane.
Dude,
It's
that
all
is
in the first
insane.
episode. It's crazy.
What is happening? How does this?
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, you gotta give him a lot of credit for being so motivated.
So he's in jail now, though. He's,
I mean, living the dream. He gets to have sex.
he doesn't sound as excited about it as you do.
I mean, oh.
No, it's a good watch. I think we're all stuck at home, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
hear
only-
by like episode 2, definitely 3, it really like has some twists and turns. But I've only seen the first episode as well.
yeah, I haven't. I'm waiting. I'm like waiting to really get into it because I think it's going to be one of those things that you watch and you just can't stop watching. I think I'm trying to prolong it.
All right. Yard sale. Give it up.
I mean, you took mine. I've
What?
really the only thing I've really only been watching Curb. You know, I mean, 90 Day Fiance is always great.
Oh yeah.
What the
But you know,
heck is that?
I haven't seen the newest, but it's so good. It's
Wait, can we-
basically people.
Can we go back to since you know you were thinking about Curb Your Enthusiasm? Can we just go back to Cheryl Hines?
Yeah.
Oh,
What about?
I mean, let's do a short segment here, and Duff, you can also participate by letting us search for somebody. Like, would you do it, Cheryl Hines?
Do it?
Yeah,
Would I beat?
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure, dude. She's so hot.
right? She's amazing.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
I don't know if she's amazing, but
I think she's incredible. Sorry, I mean, she's all right.
she's amazing for putting up with LD for sure.
Well, she's not really. That's like fake for the show.
Oh, you're talking about the actress?
Yeah. All right, Duff, Larry David. Would you be?
Can you see, Duff? Are you watching?
I'm not. I can't get like on. I have all the audio. I have no idea where you guys are, but I'm following along. I know who Larry David is. If that's what you're asking.
I mean,
So the question is, would you?
Would you fuck?
no. I mean, I think there's like more that there's a lot of layers there. I don't know. Like, there's, no. The answer is probably no, though. No.
Now, how would you ghost him if
Really
you got
look
your
at that
number?
strong jawline. I mean, it's got that nice chin to him.
you
know?
smile.
Got a lot of money.
Um,
Got that side.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what? I guess what's the attraction there? Like, what is it?
He's authentic.
the charm. Yeah. The. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He says what everybody else is afraid to.
Duff, do you need a link because I can post it in chat?
I just sent it to you on Google, Duff.
Yeah, I know. Came up weird.
What? By the way, what browser do you use?
Right now I'm using Firefox.
I heard about all the weird things that was happening for you, and I'm just like, what's happening?
Oh, I got all that stuff solved. All figured out.
On a side note, Richard Lewis is looking very
Frail.
yeah, in the new season. It's kind of sad, you know.
I'm good now.
You can see it?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm good.
You should check out Brave Browser. I think that's what
He
Jake
does.
is saying.
He does look super old in this new season. I
In
only
the new
watched the first
season, yeah.
episode.
He's also a
But-
little bit slower. Like if you look at like the last season, he was like a little more.
He's old.
chipper.
He's
Yeah.
not like young or anything.
I heard he was 22 though.
Bro.
Are we talking about Larry David? I'm sorry. I don't. Am I behind on what we're talking about?
I don't know.
No, we're
hopping
talking
all
about
over the
Richard
place.
Lewis.
All right. Now,
He's
All
saying
right.
he's 22 because I threw out our ages last week and they got upset because they're only 22.
so Duff, you know, I put you in a weird situation here. So I'm
Wow,
wondering
yeah.
if you could, you know, give us somebody to, you know, ask the question to, you know, would you do it?
And you guys chose what was her name again?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, I chose Larry David for you, and then you know,
Oh.
So choose
And I'm
something for
supposed
us.
to choose somebody for you guys? I mean,
Yeah.
Larry David is a very, like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go from there, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, okay.
Larry David or Richard Lewis? Which one?
Are you the only one that has gone so far? Like, maybe, like, let this continue the circle and let me do last.
All right.
I don't-
all right, yard sale.
yeah.
Shoot one out. Can be a guy or a girl. Don't matter.
Oh. Lux.
Oh,
I'm passing it to you, Lux.
Oh,
She
I
just
thought, you
came
were,
up-
I thought you were saying, would I beat Joe?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? I was like,
You,
All right,
you
Lux.
wish you could get that.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I choose luck.
God, what's her name? Right here. She's a no-brainer for sure.
Oh, Charlize Theron is so hot. She's so gorgeous. I'm sorry. Like, as you were saying that.
wait, what? Even wait. So I think she's really hot, but after I saw her in Monster, I never looked at her the same.
I know.
She apparently can't get a date to save her life.
Like Jesus.
Because she's fucking Charlize Theron. Like,
Did you
why would
ever
you want to
see
date her?
Wait.
Arrested
Is it
Development?
Theron or
Oh,
Theron?
oh my God. Yeah, you're right. She looks horrible there.
Yeah, I can't look at her the same way anymore. It's really hard, and I don't know. Like I can't.
But that movie was like 10 years ago. Like,
I know.
recent.
I know.
Damn, I like her with that little mohawk. She looks sexy right there.
Whoa, what mohawk? What mohawk?
Go back. It's like the first image, dude.
Wait. This one?
Dude, just close it. Close it. Why is it so hard for you? Dude, press the X. The big fucking X on the black box.
What are you talking about? I don't know.
Oh man, this is hard.
It's gone.
This is hard.
All right.
She looks really, that with the cigarette in her mouth, that's a really bad picture.
Mohawk. She has like super short mohawk hair now. All right, here we go. Swing. All right, so I've been playing this game called Fallout on my phone, like the mobile version, and there's like a whole bunch of Charlize Therons with this haircut in the game for some reason. Anyways,
I hear you have coronavirus.
hey. Well, I think a lot of people have it, including myself, have maybe thought that they have it because they got the sniffles or the
Oh, well, that's not a symptom.
The
That's
sniffles?
not a usual. Yeah, it's not a usual symptom. Coughing, dry coughing, and fever.
Don't tell him that. He
Primary
definitely
symptoms.
has it. He
or
definitely has it.
diarrhea or
Oh, I think
you know.
the sniffles is what you get if you have AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably got AIDS.
Your AIDS probably have AIDS.
It's probably AIDS. How you doing, Vibe? Vibe is Shex.
I'm good. I'm good.
What's happening? Do you have
Not
somebody to suggest as far as like somebody you'd like to question the group on whether or not they would beat or would do sexually? For example, would you sleep with Charlize Theron?
With who?
Oh! I just aged myself. Fuck.
Is she not famous anymore?
Nah, she's not that famous no more.
It's Charlize Theron. You don't know who Charlize Theron is?
Nope. I'm not very familiar with celebrities.
Oh man.
You watching the stream?
It's a
No.
really bad photo. I'm sorry. You should put up a better photo.
You don't
Let me
like
watch
that
the
photo?
stream.
It looks so good right there.
Not a fan of like the pixie cut.
Pixie cut. All right, Lux, go throw a suggestion out.
I
please.
gave
It
you
was
one
your
right
turn.
there, dude.
What?
2 down. Giada De Laurentiis. I don't even know how to say her name.
How do you even spell that? Giada.
Spell it out.
I found it.
It's in this. It's in the chat.
What? No, it's not. Oh, I found it. Yes. All right. She's cute with makeup.
Who is she?
She's like that one of those cooking show ladies.
Oh wait, whoa! So that just.
Oh my
made
god,
it,
is she
like,
married? Like, is that Matt Lauer?
Matt Lowry, Mike Lowry.
Who's that guy? I can't see that. Is that
This guy
yeah?
Yeah, the news guy.
Is he-
Yeah.
was accused of having multiple affairs. Huh. Well, now that I know that she's part of a cooking show, I think I would. At first I was gonna say, yeah, she's kind of average, but now she's like part of the cooking show crew. Yeah.
You think she's average? I think she's pretty hot.
I mean,
Post a picture to the chat.
She's got that fake face.
She does have a fake face.
Oh yeah, Lux loves that fucking plasticity.
Dude, it's so bad. Especially that nose, dude. She's got that thin, like obviously fake nose.
She's definitely had to work on her face, 100%.
Yeah.
What?
Same thing with Cheryl
And
Hines.
she's got
Like,
that
Cheryl Hines
fake
has that same
smile
look.
too.
I love it, dude. Plastic surgery should be free. Fuck Medicare for all.
Plastic surgery for all.
Yeah.
All right. Moving.
There'd be a lot more butch-looking people than you would really want, though, because everybody would be getting plastic surgery, and you just look around and be like, oh,
It's great. It's
oh.
perfect.
Have we perfected plastic surgery? Is that a thing now? Is it
I think it depends on what coast you live on.
because a lot of
And what
people-
body part you're, getting
Also
work
true.
done.
Yeah.
Like ass implants
Depends
still
on what
got a
your
ways to
definition
go.
of perfect is.
Oh, the ass implants are amazing, man.
Are they? I feel like
I
I'm
love
always
it.
seeing the edges of the implant
Oh yeah.
right up
Makes
and down
it
the
better,
thigh
dude.
and I don't know.
Hey, our friend Yard Sale from high school that had the nose job.
Wait, which one?
Wait, who works in pharmacies, pharmaceutical?
Oh, the
biotech?
jaw. No, it was his jaw.
Oh,
His
I thought he
jaw.
got his nose done too, but
He probably got work on his nose as well.
he looks like a completely different person.
Dude, when he first came to our buddy's house after that,
Yeah.
I didn't recognize. I introduced myself to him.
And-
Hey, how's it going, man? I'm Yard Sale. I
Yeah.
did not recognize him.
Dude, it took
It tripped me out for the longest time.
Yeah, it took a while to adjust, but I mean, even with the adjustment, now that's all I know him as. You know what I mean?
What's his name? The short.
Like how he
skinny
is now, right?
Yeah, like how he
Yeah,
is
I
now.
can't. Yeah,
I can't even remember
I can't
how he used to
picture. I remember the feeling I got when I saw his new face, but I can't remember his old face. He's just.
I'm gonna go play Siege. See ya.
See you, bud.
Later.
Who was that?
Well, so he used to come on the show, and we used to do a lot more articles and tech stuff, But lately, halfway to laziness, and then also just trying to diversify the show a bit. moved away from all that stuff. So much of it. But speaking of which, we could get into some of these articles. There's a Dune miniseries on YouTube's that
these were my
Lux
show
has
recommendations.
posted. Yeah, what?
Yeah, you can skip all that shit. I put like way too much in there this week.
Okay, you're not interested in talking about this or what?
I have like 5 pages of
All right, Washington State has.
Yeah, he did some of my
regulation.
homework for me.
Me too.
What? What's a neurotropic energy drink?
Oh, that's a cool one. Neurotropics.
Tropus.
Yard Sale knows what's up with the neurotropics.
Is zoning.
So
You're talking about acid?
What is this? What the?
This is a free link to. That's another show you should watch. You should watch Dune.
Wait, is zoning the answer to affordable housing? What does this have to do with the energy drink?
Dude, you gotta pick one, man. You're jumping around to like 5 different
What are you
topics.
talking about, dude? This is the
Ooh,
only
let's
link
talk
that you
about the
have
let's talk
under
about the women and the draft.
women in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, by the
That's
way, this
another
is the
topic.
only link you have under the energy drink thing.
This is affordable housing.
Is okay?
Oh, you're
what
right.
about
I
women
did the
in
wrong.
the draft?
I did the wrong link.
Is there
I
an
did the wrong
article?
link. My bad.
He's got a whole load of shit on there.
My
You
bad. I
pasted
did
it
the wrong
twice.
link.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You pasted it twice.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Okay, what's the deal with the women in the draft? Is there a link in here about it?
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Lux.
Oh, I see it. I got it.
So there's a
I got it.
commission. There's a commission, and they're recommending to Congress that women have to register for the draft now. And so it'll be up to Congress whether or not they want to implement this law. And I totally think they should. I think it's long overdue.
I'm waiting for Duff to say something about it.
Oh, I actually agree.
She knows
Hey.
she knows how I feel about this also.
I don't agree with the other things that he wrote underneath it, but I agree that women should be in the draft. See why they
What do you
shouldn't.
write? I'm
Oh,
not looking at the
I'll
thing.
say
Going
it.
to
I'll
treat
say it.
women
Yeah, I know
differently
what
in
she wants
some
to get to.
areas than you.
Oh,
open the door
so
to
Lux
treat them
also
differently in other areas.
thinks that if they don't become part of the draft, they should automatically be taken. The right to vote should be taken away, and
Yeah.
I don't
Wait, what?
agree with that.
I agree. No, this is what let me say it like an
And
intelligent.
I'd like to have like a civilized
Ridiculous.
conversation on that.
So, I believe that fundamentally men carry more responsibility in terms of their citizenship in the United States, because if shit hits the fan, every man is registered with the Selective Service System, and so you can be drafted. Women don't have to go through this process, so they can't be drafted. We're not prepared for that. The bureaucratic burden of launching that process is not something that we would embark on when you're in the midst of major military conflict that would require a draft. So basically, men carry more responsibility to the state than women, and because of this, I think that women shouldn't be allowed to vote. You shouldn't be allowed to vote if you don't carry responsibility to your country. And either men shouldn't have to register for the draft, no one has to register for the draft, and now we're equal, or you have to carry the same amount of responsibility, and in order to gain the same level of privileges. That's the argument.
So I agree with him. I think that women should 100% be included in the draft. If we do a draft, women should be involved in that. There's no reason that they shouldn't. That's going to take a little bit of time, I think. I also don't agree with that's the only thing I agree with, his statement. I don't agree that men do carry more, I guess, in citizenship. That's a weighty comment, considering that women birth all citizens.
But that's not a responsibility of citizenship. That's a biological.
It's not, but it's a responsibility of
arbitrary
life in
biological
general.
fact.
Like
Right,
you're not
but
going to become a
that's
citizen
that
if
has
you're
nothing
not
to do with the
born.
state.
So why would you? Yeah, no, I understand I understand where you're coming from, Lux. But I don't agree that it's if you don't have the draft, then women lose the right to vote. There's a lot of other pieces that equality that don't exist right now. So you can't just judge it on that. You don't get to be in the military. You don't get a right to vote. There's a lot of other inequality. And if it's equal all along the realm,
There's almost
everywhere.
There's almost no inequality across the genders.
So women get the paid the same amount as men?
100%. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a disproven talking point. So
I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't have research to back it up with, but I don't agree with that.
I do. And
you agree with it because you said it.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
the gender pay gap has been debunked for several years now. Basically, what
Snopes.
The typical statistic that you hear is like 79% or 82% on the dollar, men versus women. But what they're doing is they're comparing all women and all men and taking the average salaries and then comparing those two numbers. What they don't take into account is a lot of different variables, such as, for one, and this is a big one, hours worked. So if you look at the female working population, only about 1/3 of women work full-time. So more than half of women work part-time. 2/3 of women work part-time. And that brings the average down significantly. So even if you just take men out of the equation and compare women to women, should a woman who works 30 hours a week make as much money as a woman who works 40 hours a week? Of course not. That's ridiculous. But for whatever reason, it's because it's a political narrative. They want to pursue a certain agenda. They they skew the statistic in their favor. And so when you take out things like hours worked and just compare apples to apples, the pay gap drops immediately, almost to something like 98%. So there's still a small gap, but that's typically made up by choice. So men typically will choose higher paying jobs because they're more motivated by financial factors than women. This has been known for a long time.
But if we're going to make everything equal, I mean, I'm not proving I'm not like laying out any statistics here, but it has to be all equal. Because I mean, I think a lot of childcare and a lot of child rearing is women focused, and there are men that very much take a involvement in that, and that's great. But for the most part, those men with higher paying jobs have women that stay home because they can. It's not unequal. It's very much not equal. They are able to provide for their wives who are able to not work.
I agree, but those aren't things that are enforced by the state. Those are choices that people make. So you can't force choices. But you're right. Women do.
But like that's the type of questions that come into mind when you're talking about everything being equal.
Yard sale, you goddamn chip person right now.
Seriously.
Yeah, what's going on over there?
Chip dude.
Come on.
He's the asshole who's playing video games and eating chips. Jesus.
No chips, just beer.
You're so disgusting, man.
Horrendous.
So you're right. Like, women take a harder hit for having children compared to men, and we should do some things to compensate for that.
Yeah, like I think that's the answer. Like, I don't think it's like a yes or a no. You get paid more, or you don't, or women get to vote, or they don't. Like, it's like a.
Well, it's not that simple. You're oversimplifying the situation. It's illegal. It's illegal to pay men and women different for the same job. It's illegal.
It's what? Sorry.
It's illegal. It's illegal. It's 100% against the law to pay men and women differently for doing the same job. That's against
but it happens.
That's against the law. No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen, because if it did happen, there'd be lawsuits all over the place. People would be making money off of lawsuits like this. Besides, if you
but you don't know if it happens or not. Like, you don't know how much people are making.
You can make arguments.
High salaries. Yes, you can definitely look those up. Those are public information. But a lot of people, you do not know that.
That's not what I was saying. I don't know what people are making, but
Can we circle back to the time that people spend once they have children? Children introduce a new issue to the equation. I personally think they're sexually transmitted diseases. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah.
I will say this, like I live in a bougie building, and all the parents here have, they all go to work, and they don't spend. They hire somebody else to take care of the kid during what there's been multiple studies from psychologists about the need to be really close to your children during a very, very young age. And their greatest chances at success in life and in interaction is through that. And so even in, it'd be interesting to look at like when you have like a male go out and work, and when you have like a woman mother stay at home, the difference between having both parents present as opposed to just one parent present during that time period. Am I making any sense?
I think that makes a difference.
Yeah, I think that makes a difference also.
It makes it baffles me a bit, in the whole it talks about like abortion and talks about all these different controversial topics where men should be kind of excluded from the equation, where there's I feel there's less of an emphasis on how we can include men in it, in taking care of a newborn child in early birth.
Oh man, so
I am David Ains just showed up to the party.
Yeah. No clue who that person is though. Very good pseudonym.
All right, very good alias.
I think it's very different now today though too. Like I was talking about this to my brother recently had a baby, and we were talking about the role in gender when he is under 30.
I'm sorry for your loss.
What?
I'm just fucking with you.
My brother had a baby.
No, I know. So you lost your brother.
I know. He said, "I'm sorry for your loss." Like your brother's dead now.
I mean, if you knew my brother, it wasn't like a.
I'm joking. I kid. So. I joke. I half kid, half joke.
I don't.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, do that. But.
Anyways, continue.
So he. It's a good point that you raised. I think that child rearing now is like so different. That I mean, when we were told, I have a lot of aunts that are in their 80s and 90s. Like they're old. My family comes from Ireland. They had a large amount of kids, and they had them early. And so my parents happened to get married late, and so we're like a younger generation than my cousins and everybody in my family. And so when the role that men play, and so my brother had a child, and he's so involved in this child, and even my aunts and my uncles were like, oh, we never changed diapers, we never did this, and it's like the role of the dad in general society has changed so much. If you talk to your fathers, if you have the chance to do that, or your uncles, or just anybody that's like 30, 40 years older than you, that was a very different time period for men and having kids. You were very hands off, and it was a societal thing. It was not today it's like very societal to be like, you don't change your kid's diaper? What kind of parent are you? You don't. It's very different.
I think the Asians, and I say the Asians because I'm half Asian. I think we have it right. Well, not right, but a way to facilitate modern day work requirements. And raise kids, that we simply just pass it on to our parents, right? So the generation before ends up taking care of the child of the grandparents basically end up taking care of the kid and raising the kid during the early years.
In Asian culture, you mean?
Yeah, because at that point in time, they're not working as much. Maybe they're retired, so they got all this time. And so the majority of the raising goes to them. during that critical period of time.
Yeah.
While the parents go and work and try and survive and support the family. But, they also work a little bit different. So I know I've got plenty of Asian friends, and, my family as well. They create syndicates within business and family. So they all, they do things like pool all their money and start a business for one member of the family or the syndicate. And everybody reaps profit from that. Everybody keeps contributing to the pool till they can start another business. And that's why you see like blocks, like strip malls that are full of like Vietnamese like businesses, because they're all owned by the same syndicate. And they all take care of their kids kind of in that like tribal way. It's an interesting concept, but it works for what we're talking about, like modern age work requirements and raising kids. I don't know if it's right, but
well, I think that's very much kind of the traditional way all human beings have approached family, prior to modern civilization, which is 99.999% of the human history, the history of the human race.
I forget you're a history buff. I'm very happy you are here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that as well.
How about we switch topics?
Very much more communal and village oriented.
Yeah, which we kind of lack a little bit, especially in a place like New York, man. I swear to God.
Well, you see that. I mean, how long have you been in New York?
Me?
Like, are you from New York? Because if you, like, I grew up here. I live in the same neighborhood.
And you live in the city or outside of it?
I live in the Bronx.
Okay.
I've lived here. I grew up here. I was born here.
Yeah.
And you see the change in the neighborhood. This is a very Irish neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the changes all over. And I hear the stories of my parents who came over here from Ireland, that lived in different neighborhoods. And you hear it from everybody else. Like, I work in the city, I work in Manhattan, and everybody else that actually lives in New York, they all have tales of their family growing up in Brooklyn or Manhattan. And there is people think New York is not local, but it's actually very local.
Oh, totally.
And it's a misconception that you don't really see until you live there. And you
feels
feel
like
it.
A small town. It feels like a small town when you've been here for a while.
It does.
It's got a small town feel, and
and
once
you have I agree.
Everybody knows each other. Neighbors talk with each other. That's just something I never got in California as much. But
you get like, you have like your corner store too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have like your bar, and you have like your lunch spot, and you have like
people like know you. You have like a communal neighborhood.
Exactly. Yeah, you have the guys that stand on the corner that you see every day, and like you don't really know them, you don't really talk to them, but like you give them a head nod as you walk.
You know
by.
them. Like everybody knows each other,
Yeah.
but you don't either. Yeah,
that's something that I've never really experienced growing up here in California. But like
everybody's in their houses and their bubbles.
Yeah. You have a few neighbors that just because you've been there the longest on the block, you really know each other. But not like lately with the shut-in and all, people taking walks, people are starting to like do a head nod or just acknowledge you, which is, I don't know.
That's important. It's good to know the people and that's like what it is. You know the people that you live around, and people have more responsibilities for their neighborhoods. And that's what I've seen a change in New York, especially in my neighborhood. We don't have alternate side street or anything like that. So everybody's like getting up. And because back in the day, people were so proud of the neighborhood, they wanted to clean up after them. And you see the change of when there's more like rentals and just more people that are not invested in the neighborhood. Tends to go.
Yeah, I'm part of that gentrification problem.
Yeah, you are.
I am 100%.
It's not that, but like as long as people care about it, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter.
Sure. But
it doesn't matter who you are.
It causes conflict, right? So, for example, I live in like a cul-de-sac, right? And there's my building and the building across, and they're both new buildings, right? And the building across is a condo, but they've been here before any of the new buildings came in, and you know, they are still kind of neighborhoody, even though they kind of live in this like brand new building that they bought, right? You know, I've seen them
What do you
get...
mean by neighborhood?
What?
What does that mean, neighborhoody?
Well, so there's like so I live in Long Island City, right? And you've got people who lived here for like years, and then you've got like all the new people that are coming in, filling up all these brand new buildings. You know what I'm saying? And
that's a little different. That's like so central to New York City, though. Long Island City is. It's a little like my neighborhood's a little bit more on the outskirts.
Sure,
a lot more on the outskirts.
Sure. But it has like the similar characteristics. Like if you go into Astoria or if you go into Brooklyn, you know, there's all these people that were part of an older neighborhood that's now being changed, and the change doesn't feel good, and I understand why it doesn't feel well, you know, and you know, because it's brand new people. Some people don't carry the attitude of you know, the neighborhood, you know.
I think in my neighborhood, and I don't mean to.
That's fine.
It's not quite like that. It's more of a matter of like everybody needs to be proud of where they live, and so cleanliness and like cleaning up after your animals and cleaning up after yourself, like that's the stuff that you see. Like I understand the gentrification and all that, but in my particular neighborhood, I'm like, I think I look at the trash on the streets, and you know, it's kind of a little gross. That's all. That's where I see the change, and I think that's where change starts. And like, people should be proud of where they live.
Sure, it's a lot better. I mean, I remember coming out here to New York when I was like super young. I'm not going to say how old and how long ago.
Like 16, right? 16.
Nah. Before then. But you know, they still had graffiti on the subway, and like it was still kind of nasty remnants of the 1990s around here. And I gotta tell you, that's like one of the big reasons I wanted to come out here. And then when I came out here, it turned out to be kind of sterile and new, which I don't dislike. I'm just kind of missing what I remember experiencing when I was younger. Anywho, can we talk about this NASCAR virtual race thing for a minute? Because I find it very interesting.
It looks cool, right?
Yeah, they're going to start airing virtual races.
Yeah, so NASCAR did this thing with Fox. They aired it on Fox Sports. Mm-hmm. Apparently it was they had to cancel NASCAR. They had to cancel the whole event. So all the race car drivers got onto a NASCAR video game and raced in the video game.
Shut the fuck up. Really?
And they aired it on TV. And it got more views than any other esports event in history.
That's insane.
Yeah, so they're going to keep doing it. Apparently.
They're going to keep doing it?
Yeah, like even after the coronavirus shit is over. So
I really wonder what their setup is. Like, do they get like a steering wheel control and like?
Yeah, that would be cool. They should do that. They should go all in, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that would be interesting. I've always wondered, right? Because I used to work for IndyCar, right? And I like helped build their app, and I ran all their live shows from the mobile perspective, and like I was, questions popped in my head like, why don't we just have drones do this, or we do this remotely? That way people aren't getting decapitated while they're like driving, And also there's just like this. So when I first started on the project, I went from, I don't get it, they're just taking a right turn the entire time, or left turn the entire time. I forget which.
I'm going to go straight, then I'm going to turn left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then I went to my first I went to my first race, and I realized that it has very little to do with Jesus yard sale.
Yard sale, you fucking.
Sorry, I'm done.
Jesus Christ.
What are you
I'm
doing?
done.
Two of the worst.
I'm done.
Fuck. Why did we invite this guy, man? Shit.
Hey, Duff, are you muted? It sounds like you're muted. I mean, it looks like you're muted. Just double checking. Anyways, we saw the race, right? And I realized at that point in time that it's more than just the driver, right? Like, it's the team that's building the machine. You know, they switch out tires that are used for different weather conditions. There's like a whole bunch of things going on outside of it. And then all of a sudden it became a little more than just that. And so I honestly think it's a interesting thing. Just watching it on TV does it no justice.
Yeah, for sure.
And what would be interesting also is like drone flying racing. That would be cool. I think that exists at the current moment. But yeah, no, I mean, it's
see
cool.
that.
Yeah,
Have you been to a NASCAR? Have you been to? I've never been to. Been to one?
I went to IndyCar. I went to an IndyCar race. And they, you know, they're pretty cool when they're live. You know, you watch them go around and you really feel how fast they're going and how powerful the machine they're driving. And then you, at least for me, I was like, I had this realization, like when I see it on TV, I'm so far removed from it and I just don't care, right? But when I'm like there, I really got the feeling that, like, Jesus, these drivers must be suicidal. They have to be. This is insane.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I feel like that with like all sports.
Same.
Me and Yard were
There's
talking
no-
about this like a couple weeks ago. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go to a game and it's fun. Like, I'll go to the bar with a group of people and it's fun, but I can't fucking watch a game by myself. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, it's
All
so
sports, but I think like most specifically for me, like that example you gave was I felt with hockey. Like on TV, I could give two shits. I went to a live hockey game. I was like, this is actually really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But
live
afterwards,
hockey game.
I still don't give a shit.
Hockey is
First
hockey
time I
is
went
better.
to a hockey game was amazing. When I watched it on TV, I could not watch it.
That's one that I kind of disagree with. Hockey I can watch on TV, actually. Hockey and basketball are fun to watch on TV.
Basketball, I could
watch
do.
basketball on TV.
Yeah, I could watch basketball. It's quick. It's
Dude, these drones are so cool because they lift off super quick. I've seen
And they
one
go
in the
100
park.
miles an hour.
Yeah, I've seen one in
So-
the park. My dog likes to chase it around.
I always wanted to be a pilot. I will hopefully eventually in my lifetime get my pilot's. But in the
Or you get
meantime,
drafted
I had looked,
into the Air Force.
or I would actually. I've thought about that.
But
But I looked at
Sorry.
like piloting drones, and there was a program that you can pilot drones. You have to be like an FAA approved pilot to.
Oh, interesting.
Course.
So you should. I think you should try one of these things out, Duff, because
I would love to.
What's really cool about it is, like, yeah, you get like this RC controller thing, but that thing on top of this guy's head is actually a visor.
Oh,
Like, there's
wow.
a camera on board on these drones, and
That's
so
fucking cool, dude.
so you're literally in the cockpit of it. Well, it
I
feels
would like that to do that.
My
Do you
school
know anybody
offers
who does it?
drone flying classes. It's pretty cool.
I know.
Really?
I saw somebody doing it in the park, and he let me try it out. It was the most insane thing because you put this like virtual reality visor over your eyes, and then all of a sudden you're inside the thing, and you're just like going. You know, it's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Yeah, man. Whew. All right. Sacramento sheriff uses unnecessary force. What is
Dude,
this?
watch this video, dude. This guy is just walking from his, like, having breakfast on a Sunday morning, and he's walking from the breakfast joint, and then this shit goes down. Play that video.
Oops, I'm wrong.
It's not reflective of who
No,
hired
up
to
top,
be.
up
The
top.
Elk Grove
up top.
police chief
Up top.
talking about
Hold
this
on,
caught
hold
on
on,
camera
hold on.
incident. New tonight, one Elk Grove police officer has been fired.
Top? What is this? Is this it?
Up top, right there. That one.
Stay on top.
It's not a video on my screen.
Oh, it's not a video on your screen. What the fuck?
It's probably because I have all sorts
Paint
of
us a
blockers.
picture, Lux. Walk us through us.
No, I got it.
You got it?
New tonight, this video is being shared all over Instagram. A Sacramento
Sorry.
County
Doesn't seem
deputy
like
opposed
it.
to kick a man in
Trying
the
to find the
back.
article now
Tonight,
on the
we've learned
list.
the sheriff's
See this
office
fucking-
has launched an
A man-
investigation.
Oh, you can
There it
see
is.
it.
There it is. There it is.
Here, if you have to turn your computer, though.
Something that
What's happening?
we take very seriously, and we'll conduct a thorough
There.
complete
Start it over.
investigation into.
Start it over. Go back.
New tonight, this video is being shared all over Instagram. A Sacramento
Oh,
County
he
deputy
kicked his
appears to
legs?
kick a man in the back.
Oh wait. No, I
Tonight,
think
we've
it's
learned the
just the end.
sheriff's
Let it
office.
run. Let it run.
What?
I think
Go
it's,
to like 30.
I think we could all agree.
You had a chance to see it? Initial impression.
Wait, hold on.
It's a
There
hard
he
question
goes.
to ask. Although,
Okay.
yes, are there some things that I think we could all agree.
No. Go to 30. Go to
concerning
30.
at first sight. I think
That's
that,
not it.
What are you talking about? I'm on it right
Based
now.
on-
Oh,
Oh, you are? Sorry, it's the
What the-
fucking it's the lag. It's the lag. Sorry.
Oh. I see what happened. He like kicked him.
Yeah. So
Oh my god. That
let me
wasn't
paint you the picture. So he's walking out of the diner.
boom.
All of a sudden,
oh,
he looks-
damn.
all of a sudden he looks around and he's surrounded by sheriff's deputies, and they all have guns pointed at him, and they say, "Put your hands up
Ooh.
for arrest." And he's like, "I don't know what's going on." Puts his hands up over his head. You can see at the beginning of the
Yeah.
clip, he's got his hands over his head, and this
For
one
the
cop
latest
walks
on the
behind him, and you may not be able to see it here because it's kind of hard, but he actually shoots him with a taser first.
Oh.
He's got his hands over his head. He's not trying to fight or
Wait, whoa, there's
cop
more
shoots
to
him
it.
with a taser. The cop shoots him with a taser. The taser like doesn't do anything because it catches on his jacket or something. And then the cop jumps up and kicks him in the back. And then the other cop grabs him in a headlock and throws him to the ground. This
What they
guy,
think he did.
This guy wasn't resisting arrest or nothing. It was completely out of the blue.
What's
And then it turns
what
out.
he's showing
and then it
now?
turns out- let me finish the story. It turns out this is the wrong fucking guy. I thought this guy had a felony warrant out for his arrest, and so that's why they were acting this way.
Oh,
Turns
my
out they
God.
got the wrong guy, and they fucked him up like this, used crazy excessive force, and then took him to jail. They found out it was the guy, and guess what? He's still under arrest for resisting arrest.
Oh my God.
The arrest that they weren't supposed to arrest him for, and the arrest that they unnecessarily used unused force. These cops that beat the shit out of this guy are
Look
still
at what he's
being
doing
paid.
right now.
They still have those jobs, and now that this guy's like, it's so. I read this and I was so fucking angry.
That's
dude.
insane. You know what? Look, that brings another thing up. I'm all about like, if you get sentenced to, if you get arrested for like if you murdered somebody, right? Like the dude who was the cat killer dude we were talking about on the show a while back, right? He like killed the cat, filmed it on and posted the video, and then he killed 2 cats, and then he killed an actual person, right? Like, I'm all about killing that dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like torture, all of it, right? Like, I'm a big supporter of that. My problem with our current legal system cannot support that though, because you get too many people who are falsely arrested, get sentenced to life in prison for something that they were innocent for.
Yeah, and and sometimes it's proven later they've spent years and years in prison, proven later that they're innocent, but the state doesn't want to admit wrong or face possible lawsuits, so it will release you under as long as you just say you're guilty, so that there's no repercussions on us, the state.
Yeah.
We'll release you, but you just have to. I forget what it's called, but it's just fucked up. It's just.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
I really
infuriating.
I'm really down for it. Like, you know, I don't feel like the punishment is enough for like people who, you know, actually have murdered people. You know, life in prison just ain't enough, because life in prison is still kind of cush.
Yeah, like you said, you still get to have sex.
Still get to have sex. You get meals, 3 meals in a cot. You know, like you get to
Wow.
read. You get to go on the internet. What the fuck?
Jerk off all day.
Yeah, man. All right. Anyways. Well, did we lose Duff?
Well, I think she's still there.
No, she's still on my thing.
Duff,
Alright.
can you hear us?
I'm here.
Okay.
Alright, let me see if I can find another thing. I roped in some stuff, and you know, I'm a big fan of you know, we could predicts a clear winner. But here, I'll bring this up. Analyst predicts a clear winner between PS5 and Xbox Series X. I'm assuming it's Xbox, right?
That's what I thought, dude. But no, he said PS5, and it gave me hope. And he made a good point. He made a good point. He said PlayStation has such a strong following now. They've won the last 2 console wars. Like, they have so many loyal customers. They have such a strong IP base and catalog of games and developers.
Well,
like, the Xbox is poised to take a big chunk out of PlayStation's market. But PlayStation's going to win this one, that he was saying.
You know, he's probably right. And then the next iteration, you know, they'll lose some more market share unless they do something great.
Exactly.
But speaking of which, we're going to be doing a stream tomorrow night. Lux will be there. Hopefully Yard Sale will be there to provide commentary. But we'll be playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'm like not the biggest fan of this game, but it's a close, I like it, and we can all play cross-platform. And that's beautiful. It's actually a really great experience. The main problem is that you, Lux, are on PlayStation. I'm going to be on PC, and our buddy is going to be on Xbox. So we have to find a way to communicate, like, at the same time.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So, well, no, I have a solution for it. I do. But if you are watching, if we have any people watching, check us out tomorrow night around 9 p.m. We're gonna host a stream, and we're gonna actually play some games. You know, I know I stream to Twitch, but I never actually play games.
9 Eastern Standard Time.
That's a good question. That's gonna be 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, then I think I can make it then.
Yeah, because I'm gonna.
Make it.
It's gonna be 11 p.m. Right? 11 p.m.
12 p.m.
12 p.m.
Oh, the
12
boys
a.m.
will all be back together.
12 a.m. Eastern. Yeah. So come by and say hello. Say hello. I added some articles. Nothing really interesting, but they're more or less numbers. There's this article from this crypto tax company, and what they've done here is kind of compiled cities with the most crypto owners per capita, and there's some surprising numbers in here, and if I can get close enough to show it. Oh my god, who made this website? Virginia.
This does not speak well of crypto followers, dude. This website is terrible. This website is garbage.
Yeah, for sure. So Virginia has is at the top here, next to Washington, which was really surprising, and then number 3 is San Francisco, Santa Clara, Mountain View, Sunnyvale.
Why
Palo
Virginia?
Alto. I have no idea, right? And here's the thing: is like all these people who own crypto in California, like they're paying astronomical taxes, and Las Vegas, Nevada is at ranked 26. and they don't. They stand to make, like, you know, to have, you know, they don't have income tax over there, so it's a great place. It's kind of an okay place to cash out.
Neither does Texas.
Yeah, right. Places in America with the richest crypto.
And they're pretty low down there too. I can't believe Austin's all the way down at 23.
So San Francisco per user, $55,000. The California, man, the Bay Area has the most out of all these different places, which is kind of insane.
Not surprising.
It's not surprising because of the area, but it makes me like, it's a lot of taxes, bro. Like, California sucks, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a Bitcoin. You don't have to pay taxes on a Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's if you keep it.
Yeah.
If you.
No, this is people who keep it, right? These are.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Owned Bitcoins. It's
Right.
It's not converted capital.
Well, it's not just Bitcoin. It's also like just anything. But
Any blockchain derivative.
The other thing is Maker starting to decentralize their governance, which is very interesting to me. So Maker is like a decentralized platform for lending and borrowing money. You don't have to have a credit check or anything like that. It's all collateralized. But these, they're now in process of handing over their governance over to the people. So all the people who own tokens will be able to vote for the future of the platform. And I know we had this conversation about this, I think last week a little bit, about like a decentralized insurance product. My question for you is, and I had this realization earlier, is this more in tune with the concept of socialism because you are now moving the means of production away from somebody private and into what could be considered the workers? I'm a little bit confused about it. And maybe since you guys were educated at a really nice skill, you can explain this to me. Or at least give your opinion.
Say the question again.
So Maker is now decentralizing their governance, meaning anybody who's a token holder and of the platform will have all the power to decide where the platform goes from here, and no centralized group of people will have authority to make any changes. You have to go through a voting governance.
Got it. So like a stock.
Not quite, because this is much more accessible because the same people who are using the platform are also the holders. Does that make sense?
No.
So in order to use the platform, you need to have their token. Does that make sense? So
okay.
Remember we were talking about aligning the investor with the consumer, right? And so this is a case where you are aligning the investor with the consumer. They're the same people. And now they are going to have voting power, kind of like stock, but to govern where the platform goes. And so my question is, I had this realization that like maybe this is more into it's obviously a little bit brand new, right? It's redefining governance and how an economic system could work, but just wanted to see your opinion on it, whether or not you felt it was something more in tune with socialism because we've moved the means of production from like a private group into people who would be considered the workers or consumers.
I mean, perhaps on paper, it's not the way socialism works in practice. I mean, that's the problem with socialism and why it doesn't really work. It's not truly decentralized. It's still centralized. It's just centralized in the government. You've just taken wealth from the private. You've just taken wealth from the private sector and shifted it into the public sector, and given it total control over markets to the government.
Right. I see what you're saying.
And that's why it fails.
So,
that's why it fails in practice. So this might be
saying decentralizing it would change that a little bit.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Okay.
I mean, it removes the issue of like absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know what I mean? So, which is the essential flaw in any socialist structure, whether it be true socialism, fascism, communism, whatever the fuck China is, all of that shit is fucked up because absolute power corrupts absolutely. When you put all the power, wealth, and control in the hands of the government will become corrupt, 100%.
What do you think, Dove?
I agree.
Are you following along? You think that something like decentralization of that?
I don't think I'm as eloquent as you guys are, but when you talk about it, and I agree with Lux, absolute power. You know, you can't have, once it becomes the government's power to, yeah, I agree with that. I don't have anything additional to say.
Well, I will say this. All these projects are going to be a nice experiment, right? Like, what could happen is the community implodes on itself, right? They make all poor decisions and the platform can't survive. Or it thrives. Yard sale, you have any thoughts?
Nope.
Okay. All right. All good.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, I'd like to see where it goes.
I'll send you. I started putting together like a white paper of sorts for a decentralized insurance product, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. And obviously, it probably has some holes in it that I need to plug up and figure out. But I'll send it over to you, and you can let me know what you think.
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting. Like, I don't know enough about this stuff, to be honest with you. I don't know if there's anybody else out there that feels the two of you sound a little bit more knowledgeable, so
they're just blowing smoke up everyone's ass.
Well, I definitely think that, but they both sound like they really
read an
how
article.
to do that. So
well, I know like 5
more than you.
I know like 5 words and like how to use them the right way.
Listen, I did not. Okay, I'm just saying, like, why ride the wave? What you're doing, but like, explain a little bit. I feel like this is interesting stuff. I'm interested in it. I don't know enough about it, and if you explained it a little bit more, it might be a little bit more helpful to other people.
Well, I think.
Let me see if I can explain it. He's talking about Bitcoin.
However, wait,
I'm not talking about Bitcoin, but like, it's fine.
Wait,
do you want to just
preface, like, if I'm coming off of a place where maybe I'm a little bit behind, then forgive me. I'm sorry, but like, if everybody else is caught up and they're all like, everybody's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, that's different. But I you know what I mean? I'm just trying to say, like, not everybody knows about this stuff.
Right. These are all very, very new concepts and experimental concepts. And I mean, but just imagine if you, so this is basically like, well, maybe we can apply it to government, right? So imagine that voting was so efficient that it was not a problem, like, logistically, for a moment. Let's just imagine this fantasy of like every decision that is made by the government can be voted by every single person in the United States. Does that make sense? Digitally and efficiently.
Yes.
And that's what you have here, except you've applied it to like businesses or products or services. Well, like maybe if you work at a restaurant, right? Everybody makes decisions, like all decisions that are made in that restaurant are voted upon by everybody in the restaurant, because you have the tools now to make that efficient.
I
with me still?
realize that yes, no, I'm getting you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one aspect of it, right? And when you start, depending on the context, right? You could consider that, could be more leaning towards socialism, or could be more leaning towards like capitalism. When you start throwing money into play with that mechanism. But I mean, imagine that we didn't have delegates, right? Imagine that like everybody could vote in the country efficiently. Would it work? I don't know.
I mean, those are interesting things to talk about, but I think it's important to ground this in the reality of what you're talking about, which is connected to blockchain. So that's...
No, I mean, blockchain is just a method of making that voting system efficient and verifiable. But the concept of like voting on decision, like the essence of
no, I disagree with you there, dude. I think that's an distinction. Because...
Why?
Because all of this is tied to a technology that is, in my point of view, unproven. I mean, like, there's no real world.
Dude, forget about the blockchain for a minute, right? The blockchain is like a solution to facilitate that mechanism. Okay? That's like one solution to facilitate that mechanism. But like the mechanism itself is what's really in question from a philosophical level. Like, if everybody, for example, in the United States could vote on anything that was happening, right, efficiently and verifiably, and you're wrong about blockchain, I'll say that, but it's not about it. I'm not trying to ask that question right now. I'm trying to ask the question of whether, from a philosophical level, would that actually work, or would we fuck ourselves in the long run?
I mean, theoretically, you have those choices to a certain degree now.
No, we elect delegates who then make those choices for us.
No, you also vote on regulations. You also vote on legislation. There's a lot of things. Let
me ask you something. Are you voting on the bill right now to get paid $1,200? Are you?
No, you don't vote on everything. Yes, I understand. That you're making, but it's inefficient. There's no fucking way
my point is don't worry about logistics right now. My point is, from a theoretical place, right?
Fucking yard sale.
He's taking a shit or something.
Fuck.
If you can do it efficiently and practically,
really
would it actually work?
I muted my phone. Did that?
Nah, you didn't mute it, bro.
I fucking muted it.
You didn't mute it, bro.
No, you didn't.
It said mute on my end. All right.
It didn't. It's not muted.
No, look, like logistic technology aside, let's say you had a magic wand and whatever. It was like anytime there was a vote happening, your phone blinked and you had to pick up your phone and push yes or no. Okay, so some magic perfect technology. Even that, the scale of what you're talking about in the case of a country like the United States is far too much. It's just too much.
No, you can't. You're still talking about logistics, man. I'm not talking about logistics, but that's fine. I'm talking about the high level philosophy of this. Like you're stuck in like whether or not it can actually be done. Don't worry about that. The question is from a philosophical level, and we could scale this down, right? Like you could say like a restaurant, right? Everybody who works in the restaurant.
I'm going where you're going. Where you're going. But what I'm saying is, okay, logistics aside, implement whatever magic system you want to implement that takes care of the logistics issue, and still, on the scale of the United States population, it's too much. We vote on too many things. There's votes happening every single day. People don't have time for that shit. So what you would have to do...
You're still talking about practicality right now. Like, I mean...
Well, I'm talking about the practical application of the philosophy.
Yeah, well,
I'm not talking about the
gotta,
logistics. I'm talking about the practical application of the philosophy. You can talk about a small case study like a restaurant, sure, because there's only fucking 50 people. That's easy.
Right. Well, would that
and
work?
there's only a
Would
handful
that
of
work?
decisions that need
Right?
to be made. That's only a handful of decisions that need to be made. Yeah, of course that would. Of course it would work.
So you're
It's just
saying
like why
in general it wouldn't
that's
work
why,
to scale.
That's why universal healthcare works fine in Canada and Sweden because there's like 5 million people there. But we're talking about a much bigger scale, massive.
Wait,
scale.
actually, does it work
Hundreds of millions
in
of people.
Canada?
I don't know how many people there are in Canada, but there's like
No,
5 million people.
Has anybody actually experienced universal healthcare outside of the United States?
What do you mean?
I mean, have
The
you?
UK has it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Has
Canada
anybody
has this.
actually
Canada is different
experienced it
from the
outside
UK.
of-
Are you asking me if I have had personal experience?
Yeah, I'm asking anybody.
No.
Well, Ireland, yeah, my family's in Ireland. They all have universal health care. My family's in England. They all
Do
have
they like
universal
it?
health care.
Or
They love it. They have no idea why we spend and how we spend so much on healthcare and education. Those two things
how
are
the wait
baffling.
times? Are there wait times?
For right now, like in the hospitals and stuff?
Yeah.
No, in general, not during.
I guess like in general or right now? I'm sorry.
In general.
I mean, there's like regular, like nobody's like, my cousin is a nurse. She doesn't experience anything.
Like if you want to go
different.
See, if one of your family members wanted to go see a doctor, right? And they call?
They basically all have like a general practitioner, if you will. Like everybody has a doctor, you know what I mean? Like
So
at least
you
my
schedule an
family. So I can't speak to like, I will be honest, like I can't speak to a younger generation. So like I personally have I've had a general practitioner for a long time. I've never not had a doctor, but I know a lot of people currently here like that don't have that. So I don't know what
not in the US,
that looks like in Ireland. No, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
I don't know how like that looks like in Ireland. Like a lot of people that I know there are older. So they all have their own doctors. Like I don't know what the younger generation looks like there.
Are you saying that like they treat the younger population differently?
No, I'm saying I can't speak to like people having a doctor, like a general doctor. Like my family all has their own personal doctor. I don't know what it's like for beyond that. I know it's not
you
making
mean like a live-in doctor or like because they're super old?
No,
they
like a fucking general practitioner.
Yeah, like
why
a
is it
lot
so
of people
hard
that
for you
I
to
know
understand?
don't have a general practitioner. Like a lot, like
No, but
I'm
I
personally
guess I just don't understand what the point of bringing
because
that up
like
is.
Because
like
what she's saying is they don't just go to the fucking clinic when they're sick. They fucking go see their doctor that they see every single time.
Right,
That
and
they've
it's
been
just
seeing for
it's
the last
just
10
covered.
years.
It's just covered. You don't.
everything's covered. Yeah, I mean
Do you
there
get
is
to pick
no
your
like.
doctor?
Like
Yes.
it's not that like everybody just has a doctor. Like
Wait,
I don't
is
know
it
what the
assigned to them?
process is.
Or
I don't know what the process is. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like I
okay.
don't know what that process is.
Okay.
Every town has a doctor. You go to your town. Like everybody has a doctor. There's no like picking and choosing of your doctor and your network and all that stuff. Like there's a doctor and that's who you go see in every town. You don't have to worry about where you are in like are you paid up, are you not? Like everybody's a doctor. That's what I guess I'm trying to say.
Okay.
There's nothing here. Like I think here a lot nobody has a general doctor. Everybody there does. Like you just the town doctor is your doctor.
The town doctor is your doctor. Huh.
I don't know. Now that doesn't make sense. But I think I get what you're saying, Twashi. That you're concerned about the effects of taking healthcare public because you're going to decrease service, the value of the service. So you're going to increase wait times. You won't get to choose your doctor.
I'm just
less
curious
access
about
to
the
specialists.
experience outside of the United States, but also beyond that, I think there's like that's like the bottom barrel of like maybe concern or thought for me. It's very, very bottom barrel for me. But because I'm worried about the flow of money and innovation around it, and I haven't admittedly done enough research to really figure out what's coming out of the United States that is being shared with countries that have universal health care, like us not being universal health care. And
I think that those things are conflated, and they're not. It's not an accurate narrative. So what I mean by that,
I'm not saying it as a narrative. I'm just kind of.
No, the point that you were deriving that from, where you said that you're concerned about the flow of innovation, the rate of innovation, and when it comes to medical science. I think that those two issues are conflated. That yes, it's true that hospitals do conduct research, but I think that you can easily separate those two pieces and continue to run private sector research around medical science the way that we do now. In fact, most private sector research is actually conducted under a nonprofit model through universities. So teaching hospitals, places where they grant PhDs and medical doctorates. Those are the institutions that are really driving healthcare research. And the research arm is typically managed under the umbrella of the university or the nonprofit piece of the organization. And then the for-profit hospital run sort of under a separate. And so there's no reason why you couldn't break those two pieces apart.
Well, so how do companies like Becton Dickinson come up with
being driven by the sector? So it's like they're already disconnected. Already, the research is being done on nonprofit models. So
how I don't understand that, because you have conglomerates like Becton Dickinson that own thousands of patents. You're saying that all that stuff comes from universities?
That happens. That's true. There's a lot of that, but they're not really on the cutting edge.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know enough about that area. I haven't seen enough data to make an accurate comparison. It would be very interesting to know what oh my God, no shit.
What I'm saying is private sector medical research isn't really pushing the bleeding edge of medical science.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't know about that though. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know either. I don't have a ton of experience with it, but I do have a small bit of experience with it when I'm working at Stanford. These are the guys that are doing the most cutting edge cancer research, the most cutting edge stroke research, the most cutting edge, and their competitors aren't places like BD.
But then what about production? Like, how does that?
Yes. Production is not something that they do. You're right, and that is where things get a little tricky. So there's got to be some sort of continued relationship between that research arm and the arm of production. But there's no reason why you couldn't break the innovation apart, and then you can. Maybe you break production. Maybe what I mean to say is, I think we've already broke research apart.
I mean,
research is already sort of under a semi-public model. And
I don't know. It would be really interesting to understand that entire pipeline end to end in the context of universal healthcare. I don't know. I don't know enough of it. And but anyways, my point is that's the kind of stuff I think about, not so much like wait times and all that stuff. I mean, it's like an obvious byproduct, like it's an argument and a narrative that is being thrown around all the time. It's like, I live in Canada and I got to wait for a doctor for a week to get seen, or something like that. Anyways.
Well, I mean, there's another side of the story where it's like, you break your arm here and you have to go into $1,000 debt, because you don't have insurance.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it's just, there's no reason why. There's definitely, for sure, 100%. Are you going to be able to provide the level of service that you provide now, where if you can afford it, you can go get the most cutting edge, cancer treatments for free. No, maybe we can't provide that, but you should be able to break your leg in the United States and not have to go to debt. Like that's unacceptable.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. What is it? You have an article that you didn't refer in here about Kanye West.
Oh yeah, we've gone over quite a bit, dude. But this is just an interesting article. You guys should definitely read it. I didn't want to link it. I sent it to your email.
Oh shit! All right. Well.
Let me see here. I don't know if I can drag this into. Here we go. I'm uploading it to the Discord. It's just like this really in-depth article about Kanye West, like how he's like kind of fucking crazy, but also like that craziness helps him sort of drive his business endeavors and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting.
What did you download this thing?
Yeah, it's a PDF. It's a Wall Street Journal. It's hella long. It's like a fucking book. So I only got through part of it, but it's a good read if you get a chance. The guy is fucking interesting, man. He's like really trying to crush it.
Huh. Yeah, you don't hear much about him anymore. He did buy a place in what is it, Wyoming?
Did he?
Yeah, I think he lives in Wyoming with Kim Kardashian.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like doing some weird thing.
He's doing all kinds of shit. He's like trying to make.
Is the real estate
right now,
king
like
of
that's
Cody, Wyoming. West frequents the local McDonald's and Cody's Steakhouse. He and his wife Kim Kardashian West shop at the stores on the town's main street. There's not an easier guy to talk to. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, Wyoming, man, tax free.
Yeah, he has like a whole thing. He has like a whole town or something that people are I think he's attracting so much attention.
I thought about buying a place in Wyoming. Especially since the housing market is going to take a hit, and it would be, cheap real estate and a place to fall back to if shit really hit the fan. But I don't know.
Not with Kanye there.
What is he doing there in Wyoming? I don't know. Would you guys move to Wyoming?
I would.
Really?
If there was something there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Definitely.
There's hella wilderness there. That's all I need.
Yeah, it's a square
I need a little.
I'd love to something like there, like a part of a ranch or a wildlife conservancy. You know what I mean? Like, I would want to just like live there, be a part of it. I feel like that's what you have to be though when you're there. It's like all or nothing.
Really?
Live there. It's like I feel like it's the type of place you have to give yourself to in order to get what you want out of it.
And you can wear a cowboy hat without looking like a douchebag.
No, you still
true. True story.
You're amongst many douchebags, so.
I mean, who knows? It might be a really good, viable place someday. I don't know. I looked at some pictures of the towns and I was like, this is just too small. I think I'd go crazy. But also, I think that I've just been in New York for too long, so any place outside of New York never feels crazy.
Yeah, I like a good small town. I mean, I don't know about living there permanently, but I've had a lot of good experiences in small towns.
Need a little bit of city.
Yeah, I guess I don't look at it as a thing. I look at it as like a part-time.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I would say that. Like, I would buy a place out here, probably Airbnb it, and then just crash there every once in a while. That'd be cool. 'Cause it's like dirt cheap. Anyways, guys, I think we're gonna. I'm pretty tuckered out right now. Thanks, guys, for hopping on. Thanks, Deb. Hopefully, you become a regular. That would be really cool because we.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed.
I did. I actually really, really enjoyed your perspective. It allowed us to explore a lot of different topics that we probably wouldn't spend so much time on, and I appreciate that.
I'm here. Would love to be a part.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. COVID-19. Take care of yourself. Peace.
Stay healthy.